Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a little 2023 TBR list basically. So I have a fat stack of books right here. That's why some books are like missing from my shelves. But we're going to get started. I obviously don't have every book that I want to read this year. So I have my phone so I can pull up Goodreads on my phone. I'm gonna start with the books that I have already read this year. So the first one is Carrie Soto is Back. This book was not what I expected, but it was still really good. If you're into tennis or honestly sports in general, I feel like you would really enjoy this book. But it personally is not my favorite Taylor Jenkins Reid book. Another book I read this year was Everything I Never Told You. This is probably going to be one of my favorite books of this year. I feel like this book was super well written and I feel like I resonated with the characters. So if you have the chance to read this book, I highly recommend. It's about a girl who gets murdered and it's just like the story of like the family drama behind it basically, and they're all trying to figure out like why she's found dead basically. It's not a murder mystery, but it just tells like the story of the family and like how the family breaks apart and things like that. And then I'm currently reading Blood and Ash. My bookmark is right there. It's really good so far, but I will update you like in my recap later on. This has been on my TBR since 2021, so honestly this might be in my like what I'm gonna read 2022 video, but I'm finally reading it, guys. And then another book, I didn't read this year, I read it like the last day of 2022. It's like a super cute book to read on vacation. I probably wouldn't read this book if I wasn't on vacation, but it's a super cute book. I felt like it was a little bit unnecessarily long, but overall really good. Now we're gonna get into the books that I have not read and that I'm planning to read this year whenever I get the chance to. So the first one is Gleanings. This one was autographed. I found it at Barnes & Noble and I was like, it's like right, where is it? I was like, I need to get this immediately, but I've read all the Scythe books. I thoroughly enjoyed them. I think the second one was like okay, but this one is supposed to be about it's like short stories, I think. So I feel like this would be a super easy read. The next one is After I Do. This is my last Taylor Jenkins Reid book that I need to read to like read her whole bookography, I guess. I've had this one for a while, but I feel like I can't read two Taylor Jenkins Reid books back to back because I feel like the writing style is like repetitive at times. Since I just read Carrie Soto, I'm gonna wait a while till I read this book, but it should be good. The next is The Anthropocene. I've had this book for a while and I've actually read some of it. I think I have my book. I've read like that much of it. I would read this in college when I was really bored and just really needed to do something else other than study, but I'm gonna finish it this year. And I love John Green and I love these kind of like books that I don't even know what genre this is classified as. It's just about humans. Next are my Bardugo books. I have had these books for so long. I'm pretty sure this was in my like what I need to read in 2022 and I just never read them. So first we have Ninth House. I've actually read a little bit of this book but then stopped because I was reading it on my Kindle. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get into this book. I feel like I just have to sit down and read it and I will really enjoy it because this cover is so gorgeous. I need to read this year. It can't be sitting on my shelf for another year. Next are this, I think it's a duology. I don't know if there's a third one, but I read Six of Crows, literally my favorite book ever. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get into these because I don't know. I read it like over a year ago. These books are like prequels. You know how that goes. Next is The Silent Patient. This is actually the book that I'm gonna read after I finish From Blood and Ash. It's a little bit on the scary side, I feel like, and I don't really like scary books because I can't read them at night because I get too like creeped out basically. I was supposed to read this like back in October when it was like Halloween to set the vibe, but I was just so busy that I never got to read it. I actually given this book as a gift to like some other people and they've said that they really enjoyed it, so I'm excited to read this. Next we have The Wolf of Wall Street. The only thing preventing me from reading this book is literally just how ginormous it is. It's like reading a manuscript. Like I just want to watch the movie, but I know that I'm gonna enjoy the book so much more, so I'm gonna force myself to read this so I can finally watch the movie. So those are all like the physical books that I have. I think everything else on my shelf I've like read before. I have like some Coho books, but I am kind of iffy on Colleen Hoover. My own like personal reasons. I mean, I have this book that I never finished, We Hunt the Flame. This is supposed to be like a really good trope, but I was already 100 pages in and just wasn't into it. And my rule for books is like, okay, once you get 100 pages in, if you don't like it, you can stop basically. And I don't know, maybe I'll read it. I honestly couldn't say. This book I also started. I don't know where I am, but I'm pretty far into this book. This is super highly like talked about, I feel like, in the book community for this like type of genre. This is very highly talked about. It's Clara and the Sun. I know this author is supposed to be like super good, but it's basically about like an AI friend, like an artificial intelligence friend. So those are all the physical books I have, but now we are gonna go onto my Goodreads. Want to read, some of these are definitely going to be repeats from like 2022 that I just haven't read. First one, Chain of Thorns. Oh my god, this is the book that I am, Chain of Thorns, this is literally the book that I am reading as soon as it comes out. Like I ordered it on Amazon because it was on sale and I was gonna go get it at Barnes & Noble, but I was like, I need this delivered to my house when it comes out. It's the third book of The Last Hour. I don't know how I'm gonna feel when I read the book because it's literally like the last Shadowhunter book ever, and the Shadowhunter books are just have such like a big place in my heart, especially since it's like got me into reading and everything. When I was like in 7th grade, I was like, this is literally the best book I've ever have read. So I'm gonna be super emotional, but I know the book is gonna be so good because the second book was left off on a cliffhanger and I just need to know what happens, and I'm literally in love with all the characters. Like they're so good. And then I'm also gonna be reading her new book, which is like an adult fantasy series, which is not my favorite genre, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm obviously gonna read it because it's Cassandra Clare. It's Swordcatcher. It's like her first series that she's working on that's like not Shadowhunters, but I saw her like Instagram post and I read what the book is about and it seems interesting, so I will be reading that when it comes out later this year. A lot of these books I feel like were my last 2022 like recap, so I'm gonna go scroll down to like the end about the like were like the recent books that I added. So the first one is Our Missing Hearts, also by Celeste Ng. After reading Little Fires Everywhere and Everything I Never Told You, I know for sure Our Missing Hearts is going to be so good because one, her writing is just perfect, and two, it has so many awards, and it's a Reese Witherspoon like book club book pick, so I know it's gonna be good. I'm excited about that one, but it's kind of the same thing with like TJR. Like I can't read her books back to back, it's just too emotionally heavy. We have I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I've heard that one is super good. It's like a, I don't know, like a biography, I guess. I really want to read that. Funny You Should Ask. I heard that one's based on Chris Evans. It's like a romance. I'll read that when I'm like during the summer when I'm feeling the more romance vibes. Sea of Tranquility. I've heard that one's really good. If I'm gonna ease out of romance and more into like contemporary stuff, so I'm just gonna list off some other books without an explanation as why I'm gonna read them. I want to read Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney. I didn't like Normal People, but I'm gonna give the author a second chance with this book because I've heard it's good. The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. I've heard that one's good. Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. I want to read that. A lot of these books I just like find on TikTok and I just add them to my Goodreads without see like a TikTok video and I'm like, this seems interesting, so I'm gonna add it. I really want to read The Devil Wears Prada so I can watch the movie. In my mind, that's like the same genre as like The Wolf of Wall Street, where I like need to read the book before I watch the movie, because I have a feeling the book's gonna be better, but we'll see. The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave, My Body by Emily Ratajkowski. I feel like that's it. Like, my book talk hasn't been giving me the best recommendations lately, so if you have book recommendations, please tell me. I like almost anything, but not anything super romancy. I feel like I'm like easing away from that a little bit. So anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. I had fun making it. As you know, I love talking about books literally all the time. Hopefully this becomes a little annual trend that I do, but we'll see at the end of the year how many of these books I actually read. My reading challenge this year is 30 books, but I honestly don't even know if I'm gonna make that much because I'm so busy with school, and school is just my life now, which is really sad. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video.